Good evening and welcome inside the Hawks Nest for an OCAA men's volleyball matchup between the Boreal Vipers and your Humber Hawks. My name's Adam Lucier. I'm here with my broadcasting partner, Matt Hamill. And a fun contest going on tonight between these two clubs. And kind of two teams are at the polar end of the spectrum when it comes to the standings.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. You have the number 4 nationally ranked Humber Hawks taking on the Boreal Vipers, who are 1-11 in their Ontario competition thus far.
Yeah, we saw the Lady Humber Hawks take full advantage of the Boreal Vipers earlier in the second half of this doubleheader, and you see there Boreal sitting near the basement just above Cambrian, and Humber right up there with the likes of the Fanshawe Falcons.
Yeah, and that's quite the matchup, Humber against Fanshawe. We saw that right here just a few weeks ago to start off the 2019 half of the season. And, of course, the OCAA Provincial Championships will be right here in the Hawks Nest come February. So looking forward to that. But right now the Hawks just looking to keep things going in the right direction and try to pick up another win today against the Vipers.
Absolutely, and statistically, all things are looking up for these Humber Hawks as they've been putting up plenty of numbers. As we see the head-to-head here, obviously that record is one to highlight, but you look and the Hawks have dominated in nearly every statistical category there.
Yeah, look at the hitting for the Humber Hawks, led by Rafael Hilario, who leads the league in hitting percentage. And you see towards the bottom of the metric there, things even, blocks per set. Service aces, though, definitely the advantage goes to Humber, namely one Jake Gomes, who has just been great this season from the service line.
Plenty of leaders for this Humber Hawk team in all statistical categories. Obviously, Boreal has some players that could really come to play, but they have quite the test tonight against this strong nationally ranked team. And some of these key contributors for the Boreal Vipers, Michelle Ayotte, Kevin Longpre, some real players that could step up and perform, but those statistics pale in comparison to that of the Hawks.
Well, we talk about those statistical leaders for the Hawks, but joining Humber after a long absence is number 1, Dylan Devasheri.
That's a great point to make, as Devasheri is going to be a key addition back into this lineup. So you see Rafael Hilario there leading in plenty of categories on the offensive side of things. And Jake Gomes also holding down the fort. A pretty deep roster for Coach Wilkins. And we're just about to get underway, and here are these introductions for these two clubs. So the Hawks come into this one a perfect 16-0 against the Boreal Vipers. They'll try to run that streak to win number 17 here tonight, as these combatants get into their lineups. We're just about to get this one underway.
And we mentioned before the player introductions there that Dylan Devasheri is back in the lineup, and here he is on the court starting off in that front line. Now, Hawks have had a great season in spite of not being with Dylan Devasheri. He's been injured and finally getting a chance to come back, maybe a good opportunity to tune up against the Boreal Vipers. And we'll see how number 1 fits into the lineup. You know, Razart Sadiku has been playing lights out in his place, and how do Humber juggle the moving pieces they have?
Yeah, that's a great point. Obviously, nice to have Devasheri back in the lineup. He's a dynamic talent, but it's been a long season with plenty of chemistry formed. We'll see, as you mentioned, how Devasheri will click back into this lineup. And right off the bat, the quickest of points for the Hawks as Kevin Longpre stepped on the service line.
Yeah, and obviously you don't want to hand over any points to the Hawks. They were a very skilled team, very tall team with a tremendous hitting percentage.
Jake Gomes, take a look at that assist per set. And how about the serves? Not too shabby either. So get things going with the ace.
Yeah, there's two aspects of Jake Gomes' game that really stand out, and it's right here, his serves, and up by the net, the way he sets up, those assists you're talking about. Oh, wow. How about that?
Zach Ducharme absolutely blown away from that serve from Gomes. That almost looked like a kill the way that came over the net, but coming all the way from the service line. Two quick aces on the board. And make it 3. An absolute screamer down the line. And the Hawks making quick work here early on.
Much to the delight of the Hawks bench. What a great way to start the game from Gomes with the serves. Notice, Adam, he goes for the different colored knee pads.
Definitely a nice fashion choice. He'll get involved on the play here.
Well, one thing about Gomes, he does things a little differently, and that even is true with the attire.
Yeah, we see some opponents like to take advantage of that little chicken wing in the serve that little movie does, but whatever he's doing, it sure is effective.
Just makes it over that time.
Nice soft touch over from the Vikings. There's Devasheri with his second touch of this game. And another point on the board for the Hawks. They're running away with this one.
Yeah, so really interesting to see how Devasheri, not just how he's playing, but how he's fitting into this scheme and the chemistry that you mentioned earlier. Wow.
The rocket serves continue, and John Obi will just send that one over on one. A three-man block, but getting through it is Michel Ayo. A nice play made there. 3 Hawks going up for the block and a cross-court winner.
Got to breathe a
Finds him.
deep sigh of relief now that Gomes' service run is over.
And giving it right back is Justin Lamontagne, as that one finds the net, and the Hawks once again get that service advantage. This time will be Devasheri back from a long delay.
John Obi, almost not fair. And he stands at a pretty lengthy 6'9", and boy, can he jump. And Obi hasn't been playing volleyball too long. Really more of a basketball guy growing up, so I'm told. And you just think, a guy with this kind of raw talent, channeling it into the volleyball court, and boy, he's got a lot to work with, and the Hawks are happy to have him.
Yeah, even this season, you can see tremendous growth in the game of John Obi, and just brings so much to the court. You see in there, that's a 50-50 ball, but not if John Obi has anything to do with it. Getting involved again, that's off the block. And that's Kelsey, just couldn't make that play off the net. So after a rapid fire start from the Hawks, The Vipers finding their way onto the scoreboard.
Now the Vipers are about the bottom of the league in terms of blocks per set, and that's going to be trouble against Humber because they have so many hitting weapons. There's Devasheri with a blast.
You see that three-man wall back up there. Devasheri setting Kelsey off the block again, but able to manage it off the net.
They just keep going back to the Devasheri well, and he's going to secure the point for the Hawks. They're up 9-3.
See Blakey come into the game here. And for Devasheri, pretty active thus far. A lot of touches of the ball early on in set number 1.
Yeah, you got to think that's probably Chris Wilkins' game plan. Pardon me, Wayne Wilkins. To get Devasheri back in the groove.
Kelsey once again, but corralled by the Vipers. Backcourt, Devasheri landing on his backside. A nice rally going here. Quick reaction by Gomes. Kelsey finds the block off the boot, but the point will go the way of the Boreal Vipers.
Yeah, Kelsey using the old 5-toe iron, but that was the 4th hit.
So the creativity is there, but one touch too many is once again a service error, causing issues for these Vipers as they're giving away free points to a talented team that definitely does not need them. Back-to-back errors on the service as Kelsey finds the net.
Boreal led by head coach Jamie Irven in his 10th year with the program. And yeah, likely gonna want his players to tighten up, not want to give up anything easy to a very dynamic Hawks lineup.
Rylan Levion, key contributor for this Boreal team. That one goes off the net and darts out wide.
You know, we mentioned the Hawks are 4th ranked nationally and number 1 in the country, also in Ontario, Fanshawe Falcons.
That is the name. As they look above them in the standings, it's the Falcons standing right back at them. That's a tough hill to climb. As Boreal gets on the board once again, that's their 6th point of the match. And what can you expect, especially with Devasheri back in the lineup? Is this a team that could really go up there and compete with the likes of Fanshawe?
Oh, absolutely. And we got a good look at that Fanshawe matchup right here at the Hawks Nest. And that is a tough team. There's really no two wits about it. But, you know, in talking to some members of the Humber volleyball team, they really do think that they have a shot and they have the players. So many dynamic, like we said, dynamic talents to work with. But against a team like Fanshawe, Adam Lucier, you pretty much have to be perfect. They don't give you any type of window of opportunity, and if they do, it's not for very long. So,
and this is, as we mentioned earlier, a perfect game to kind of tighten those screws as they workshop some depth players and different lineups here against Boreal.
Well, you know, we said it before. The screws were tight, and now you're introducing, you know, one of the best players in the province, Dylan Devasheri. So how do you kind of fit him back in with the pre-existing program?
Pretty nice problem to have if you're Coach Wilkins, yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure it's not too much of a hassle for him to get the talented Devasheri back. A little awkward play here, but Blakey manages to get it over on that 3rd touch. Coming to the near side here, and that finds nothing but Hawk arms. Jake Gomes gets rewarded for the block.
And right beside him was John Obie. So if you're a Viper trying to hit by that duo, that's quite literally a tall order. Nicely done.
Trying to go over on 2, but that'll go off Devasheri, and the point will be awarded to Humber. 10-point lead here in set 1. This game going similar in fashion to the game we saw earlier tonight between the women's programs of these two schools.
Yeah, 3 quick set win for the Humber women's team. And they're cruising along in a very good season of their own.
Some communication here between the umpires, and that point now being rewarded to the Vipers after that discussion. Long Prey will be the one serving. That's a rocket, and that'll find the back line.
I think that one was going long, but it just had such a laser beam-like quality to it. Kelsey just couldn't get out of the way.
A little bit of a sinker if we're using baseball terms. That one sunk a little too far, directly into the net for Long Prey.
Maybe not a bad strategy, Adam Lucier. Just hit it with everything you got, even if it goes long. The opposing team just can't get out of the way.
If anybody could do it, it's Jake Gomes here.
Yeah, back at the service line. We saw him at the beginning of this set with just a tremendous run, and here he's going to get another chance. Humber's up 17-8.
Making quick work. And set one are the Humber Hawks here at the North Campus gym. Jake Gomes has been on fire from that service line.
Setting up Devasheri.
Devasheri active on the net as well, but another violation ruled by the umpire. And the Hawks gifted yet another point. That lead back up to 10. Devasheri leading the team so far with 3 kills in this one, making his presence felt.
We've seen this a few times with these Gomes serves. They're just ricocheting off the Vipers, and there you go. The Hawks finish off the play with an uncontested hit.
Yeah, for Boreal, that first touch is so difficult trying to return these serves from Gomes. It's tough to get any rhythm, any set play working.
Gomes from Oakville, Ontario, where evidently they get you serving the volleyball pretty early because this guy's talent is really something.
And Jake Gomes just single-handedly running away with this set. Timeout charge to the Vipers, probably rightly so, as the momentum getting a little out of hand thanks to the hands of Jake Gomes. And Matt, you mentioned earlier about the front court of Boreal and those low blocking numbers. What have you seen from them so far going against this lengthy Humber front court?
Well, again, you know, you look to these Jake Gomes serves, and especially right off the get-go, really establishing that cushion. And, yeah, Humber setting up Devasheri, really moving the ball around well, and just, you know, really tall order for the Vipers, and gotta like the way Humber's cruising along here in set one.
Yeah, pretty easygoing night so far for head coach Wayne Wilkins. He currently sits just 6 wins back of being Humber's all-time most winning coach. And that's sitting behind his brother, the coach of the girls team.
Yeah, so Wayne here with the men's team and Chris with the women's. The brothers are doing all right here with the Humber Hawks volleyball program. Obviously in good hands with the Wilkins clan, and came in here on the men's team, a permanent fixture. And Kyla Wilkins, just dynamite, miss everything for the women's team at the libero position. Oh,
and that one hits the net, but causing a few Vipers to duck as they probably heard that one whistle.
Yeah, and nice timeout by Jamie Irvin. That's what they call icing the server, if we want to throw in a football reference here. Oh, John Obie.
And if there's a defense for that type of play, I haven't seen it. John Obie just getting up there and firing it down to the court.
Yeah, kind of just not fair to be hitting from that high.
And Devasheri not to be outdone by the service of Jake Gomes as he joins the service ace party. Sporting that flashy knee brace, a pretty good look.
Looks like it's from the Cleveland Cavaliers locker room. That color scheme. That time just a little too strong. Gotta like what we're seeing from Devasheri, #1, coming in. Looking like he hasn't missed a beat.
1 dig, 3 kills on the night for Devasheri. Seen a lot of time on the floor.
Wow, John Obi getting up there, and again, stop me if you heard this one, just coming right down on it, jumping about 50 feet in the air.
Longpre and Lamontagne were the two Vipers just staring in awe of that one. And luckily for them, Obi will take his talents to the service line. Step away from that front court.
And that hitting percentage is right up there at the top of the province. Of course, #1 in the province is Rafael Hilario, who we haven't seen yet today.
Yeah, we saw many players rested on the women's side of things, possibly the same for Wayne Wilkins here tonight as Hilario, who, as you mentioned, leading the province in hitting percentage, currently sitting on the bench.
Big block there by the Vipers, and they're fired up, led by Stéphane Lefebvre.
So these Vipers putting up quite the battle here, as we'll see the service from Michelle Ayo.
Humber just 1 point away from taking the first set. It's going to be right in the hands of Kelsey.
The first-year player from Rexdale, the local talent, a chance to end it here, set #1, and he'll do just that. As that first touch from the Vipers goes a little squirrely off into the bleachers. Set #1 in the books, 25-12 for the Humber Hawks.
Yep, all systems firing for the Hawks.
And most of that damage done from the service line. We saw a couple of long runs from the like of Jape Gomes and Devasheri.
A rare Saturday night game here in the Hawks Nest. Lots of OCAA action today in men's volleyball. You had Centennial taking on Durham.
Hawks Nation is the official Humber Varsity fan club. You can follow them on Instagram at Humber Hawks Nation. Always available at every varsity game, handing out fun merch and good stuff. Come here and check them out here at the North Campus Gym.
Yeah, no doubt. Coming to a Humber Hawks home game, always a good time. Not just because of the top-notch competition, but Hawks Nation really does a good job. They hand out the free popcorn, which is always a hit, especially with the commentators.
Absolutely, a nice little pregame snack. And you mentioned that big slate of games for OCAA basketball, and it's a big slate as well for these Humber Hawks, as they'll be back here again tomorrow for a little bit of a matinee matchup against Cambrian. So a busy weekend for both of these programs. But so far for both, in 4 sets of work, it's been easy breezy going for these Humber Hawks.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Another game tomorrow against the Cambrian Golden Shield. And Cambrian in the bottom of the West Division, 0-12 thus far on the season.
Yeah, these Boreal Vipers currently sitting at 1-11, and that single win came against Cambrian. So a couple of winnable games coming up for the Humber Hawks, and so far so good.
Of course, tomorrow's game will be right here on the Hawks Sports Network, broadcasted live from Humber College North Campus, located right here in Rexdale.
It's nice to be in the gym. Rexdale experiencing not the nicest of weather forecasts over the past few weeks, but despite the cold weather outside, the volleyball program staying hot indoors.
Tomorrow, a 40% chance of flurries. High of -8. This is all true.
Not only a commentator, but also a meteorologist Fine work by Matt Hamill.
Never met a Doppler radar that I didn't like, Adam Lucier.
But enough with the forecast as both sides get settled in for set 2.
Tell you what, Adam, nobody could have forecasted Dylan Devasheri coming in to this game after a long injury break and looking like I said, hasn't missed a beat. Playing lights out. He's going to stay in here for set number 2. Looks like Colin Skanes also in that front line, so he's subbing in. That's a new look. Big fella, 6'8" in the front line.
So a different looking lineup for the Humber Hawks to get this one going. As you mentioned, some high usage for Devasheri in his return, showing no rust, cobwebs, whatever you want to call it. He's looked fresh so far. And much to the delight of the Vipers, it's Jake Gomes getting this one underway.
Big hit there.
Devasheri looking awful healthy with that kill. Outstretched arms of the Vipers, able to return it to the backcourt. Gomes will set up Devasheri, and he'll find the middle of the floor for point number 1. So Jake Gomes looking to get on another one of those runs as he had in set 1. Vipers without an answer for his service tonight. Play off the net made. Just a push volley over. Free ball for the Hawks. Colin Skanes finds the block.
And I think he'll pick up the net violation, so not an ideal series for number 4, but I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Some strong showing from this Viper front court early on, as they struggled with this sizable, talented Humber front court. Kelsey on the near side. Off the block goes Le'Veon. Devasheri once again off the block, and it'll find the floor. Rolling down for a Humber point. Kill number 5 for Devasheri. Now with a new opportunity on the service line. Cannot be handled, but a nice second touch to put it back in the field of play. Humber Hawks definitely believe they got that over legally on 3 touches, as Jake Gomes will have a chat with the umpire, but that point will go with Rylan Le'Veon of Boreal.
Yeah, Jake Gomes not happy, and he was explaining to the official that it just hit his palm. There was, in his mind, no lift involved, but it was a bit of an awkward play. You can see how the official might have thought something was up. Devasheri coming in again with a big hit, and he's just been going for everything tonight.
Yeah, definitely not showing any rust, as he's been back into this just fine. And Colin Skanes with a floater over the net. Big block there off the hands of John Obi. And that front court continues to be a thorn in the side of the Vipers, as Michelle Ayo, kind of the offensive leader, unable to get anything going. But that one will find its way in. That's Le'Veon getting it in there. So time and time again, these Vipers finding the block. That one able to get down.
Le'Veon leads his team in kills per set. Here's his teammate Ayot with the serve.
First touch goes to the libero over on 2. But the chair umpire didn't like something he's seen there. And the point is awarded to Humber. So first year Kelsey, a front court player. Limited opportunities in this season, but has performed well when called upon.
Double touch there.
Yeah, that's Kevin Long-Prey. Once again, a little backhand play, trying to go over on 2, but couldn't get it over the net. Sure, head coach Jamie Irvin would have liked him just to set that one up. Long play again at the net. Outmatched by John Obi in height and vertical. And this lead is quickly growing. 7-3.
Kelsey gets it over.
Long play will put it up. Good contact made by AO, but unable to find that back corner. Kelsey, who has plenty of service practice during this run, will have another go. AO just squeaks that one over, and it will find the line, bringing the Vipers back within 4.
Yeah, second set, a bit more back and forth than we saw in the opening frame. Vipers doing a good job hanging in here, trading points with the Hawks. That time, yeah,
seen that quick pace in that first set of rapid points coming off the board for Humber. And this one, everything seems to have settled down, and the Vipers have kind of settled into a little bit of a rhythm here as they're hanging tough. Long play with the set to the far side. And that one goes off the block, but out. Boreal now within 4. Stephen Lefebvre, you mind trying that hometown there, Matt? I know I sure can't pronounce that.
Yeah, I might pass on this one.
Now serving for the Hawks, number 17, John Obi.
So here's
I'll take a
John
crack at
Obi.
Obi's hometown, Malton, Ontario, just down the road here from Rexdale.
Fine pronunciation on that one, Matt. So the touch goes to Lamontagne. It's Colin Skanes getting it down. A nice dig made by the Librero. Long prey off the block and down. He'll get his team a point. Much more competitive set number 2.
Yeah, you said it, partner.
Hawks unable to pull away.
And you look at some of the usual suspects out of the lineup for Humber. Cayman Wilkins, Hilario, Sadiku have yet to see any action.
Haven't necessarily been needed, but that one tipping off the top of the net. That cross-court winner coming from AO he's starting to find his game a little bit here. The Vipers will sure need him to repeat that performance if they look to crawl back into this one. Jake Gomes, the talented server, sends an offering the way of the Vipers. And what do you know?
Catches that back line. Gomes keeping it going with the serves. Lucky number 13.
I may have lost track. He might have 13 service aces by now. He's had quite the day from the line.
Well, if he keeps this up, he might break some OCAA record. That time, too strong.
You might have to stick with the whole multicolored knee pads if it's working out this well for him. First touch goes to Eduardo. That's Kelsey there, able to find the back court. No answer from the Vipers.
Talk about multicolored knee pads. We just got a serve from a guy with multicolored shoes. Justin Lamontagne. One's blue, one's red.
Good eye there, Matt. I missed that pregame. Definitely an interesting choice. I guess you're paying double buying 2 pairs of shoes. When you look that good, money is not an issue.
Now serving Darian DeShane, a guy with shoes the same color.
I guess he didn't get the memo with his fellow teammates.
Not as much razzle-dazzle in the serve into the net. Colin Skanes gets a chance here. He's gotten a few successful serves, really known for his up front play.
That's Longpre with the set. A nice dig there from Devasheri, showing off the athleticism. Ayo. Devasheri. Gomes now to Eduardo Silva Ferreira. Off the outstretched arm of the libero Paquette. And that'll score a point for the Hawks. Devasheri stuffing that stat sheet. Sorry, with 4 digs and 6 kills. Not too shabby for your return to action. That one is also out. Point awarded to the Hawks. A little bit of conversation between the officials. Timeout now charged to the Vipers.
Probably good timing with that timeout, because we mentioned second set's been a lot of back and forth, and now the Hawks starting to create some separation. They have a 7-point lead right now. As they look to capture the second set.
Yeah, this one's starting to get out of hand in a hurry. Was tightly contested early on, but Jamie Irvin, seeing that lead stretch to 7, smartly calls that timeout, and we'll get a little breather here as the M&M plays over the PA system.
And you know, Humber Hawks are known to have a strong social media game. You can find out for yourself at Humber Hawks on all your major platforms. A lot of these game films, in addition to being on humberhawks.ca, full game coverage on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, best to come here and take in the action live, but if you do miss any contest, all games are archived on that YouTube channel. Go there and check out the Hawk Sport Network.
Or if you want to hear one of the commentators' many flubs throughout the game, you can go relive it in perpetuity on the YouTube page.
Yeah, we
Comments are turned off.
We try to forget them, but you could sure go back and take a peek. I'm sure you might find 1 or 2 in our repertoire, but
I might have
not too bad, I would think.
I have 1 or 2 before this rally's over.
That's a low first touch, but able to get it away. A strong blocking presence for the Hawks, but nothing doing as that rolls down the chest of John Obi. So the Vipers have their work cut out for them. Not exactly out of this set just yet. And a big thanks to Michelle Ao as he gets this one off. Far side to Kelsey, but that'll meet the block. And Obi with nothing but a whiff. He had mean intentions with that swing, but just could not connect. A rare miss from Obi.
Yeah, he got up there that time and almost kind of outkicked his coverage. Hawks up by 5.
Nice serve from Ao, but Devasheri able to get down. And John Obi makes good of his early mistake.
That time making no mistake about it. Little redemption story for number 17. And checking into the game, Xavier Reed.
Fresh face into this one, a first-year player from Scarborough. And he gets his game underway with a service error. Not what he was looking for, but still plenty of breathing room for these Hawks in the second set. Rylan Le'Veon also finds the net, so back-to-back service errors. This back and forth action continues after the Hawks were able to open up a little bit of a lead. Longpre with the set. And a pretty clear net violation against the Hawks there. That's Jake Gomes and John Obi making that net move. And that will not get past the umpire. (18 to 13), your score here inside the North Campus gym. Hawks look to continue their strong year here against the Boreal Vipers. Zach Ducharme with the serve. Devin Sherry with the opportunity, and that goes right off Zach Ducharme, and he could do nothing with it.
Yeah, Gomes did a good job teeing that one up beautifully for Devasheri, and he got all of it. And normally we see Gomes, he's really creative with the way he sets up his teammates, but that time just what you call a straight sell, just right to Devasheri, and bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, when your outside hitters have that much talent, sure makes you look good as a setter. Obviously, Jake Gomes with plenty of talent, he could do it on his own, but always nice setting up those big hitters on the outside. Kevin Longpre, who's been active as a setter all game long, 3.26 assists per set. Devasheri once again picking on the same player. Zach Ducharme having a rough go these past few points. Devasheri showing him no mercy. 8.7 assists per set for Jake Gomes. Remarkable numbers. Really the quarterback of this team. Far side now, it gets past the block, but will not drop in. That's off the hands of Lamontagne. Hawks now just 4 points away from taking set number 2. If Jake Gomes goes on a similar run here, he could close it out himself.
Count that as another ace. Bit of a miscue by the Vipers.
Yeah, that was between 3 or 4 Vipers, and no one really seemed to commit to that ball, so not a pretty service ace, but Jake Gomes will happily add that to the stat sheet. So we'll have another timeout here. So 22-14, another timeout called by Jamie Irwin. And Matt, do you think there's any adjustments that this Boreal team can make to get back into this contest?
You know, it's really going to be tough because we look at the stats on the season, and the Vipers just not that efficient of a blocking team, and you're going to need to reject some of these hits. And so far we've seen Obi just uncontested, Devasheri hitting them dead. So I just don't know how you can combat that dynamic hitting of the Humber Hawks.
Yeah, if you're going to have holes in your game against these Humber Hawks, blocking would definitely not be one of them. The size and the talent of this roster really lends to that loaded front court. Could score in plenty of ways, and they've shown that tonight.
You know, Adam Lucier, we mentioned the provincials hosted right here at Humber College this year, provincial championships. National championships over in Red Deer, Alberta. Now, if the Boreal Vipers were to make the trip, I believe that would mean snakes on a plane.
How long were you waiting to set that one up?
I had that one teed up.
Snakes
was the payoff worth it? Probably not.
Absolutely. Well, if they want to get on that plane, they're going to have their work cut out for them against the Hawks here tonight. And yeah. I don't know if you get those Hawks on a plane, already the ability to fly, not the same ring to it.
Yeah, tonight I guess that puts the Hawks in the role of Samuel L. Jackson, because they have just been oh boy, Vipers diving into the crowd.
Longpre going right into the bleachers. You hear the squeals down there for some spectators, but everybody seems no worse for wear.
Yeah, it might have been a couple members of the Humber women's team fearing for their life as the Vipers diving into the crowd. Gomes gets that one over.
So Longpre, after crashing in, will have the set, and it'll work. That's going to AO, and he'll find his way to the floor. So these Hawks, as you mentioned, Matt, preparing for that provincial championship coming up shortly, and if they keep this play up, they could be a top contender.
Devasheri with that one into the net. Hawks have a chance to win the set here with one more point. And, you know, speaking of that provincial championship, you know, we're all wondering, at least every Humber Hawks fan, if we're going to get another look at that Falcons-Hawks matchup. And can the Hawks hold strong against that lights-out Fanshawe Falcon team?
Yeah, the two premier programs in this province. That'll be a fun matchup. I'm sure we'll be able to see it. As Edward Lai unable to run that ball down. So the Vipers able to stay alive in this set, but plenty of opportunities to close it out for the Hawks. Who will get the last touch? It'll be Silver Ferreira. That one rolls off the net and will roll right out of bounds. Darian Deschamps with the serve. Looking for Ferreira again. And that point awarded to Humber on the violation, so the set doesn't end with a major kill, but it does end with a Hawk point, number 25. And that'll do it for set number 2. A little bit tighter than set number 1, but still a pretty dominating effort put forth by Coach Wilkins and his Hawks.
Yeah, Boreal holding pretty strong there at the end of that set, but ultimately the Hawks will win by a 7-point margin. They're now up 2 sets to love, looking to end this one quick here on a Saturday night. Maybe the team's got kind of party they're waiting to go to, really trying to make quick work of the Vipers here.
Yeah, I think the women's team is already out the doors. They made super quick work. Under an hour was that women's game. You don't see that too often, as they flew through 3 sets, and seems as the men's team got the memo, doing the same thing, looking to start their Saturday night early. So Wayne Wilkins with a smile on his face. He must like the way his team's performed tonight. See them staying warm between sets here. Kelsey there in the lineup. He's been pretty productive. Not a player you see too often in the front court, but he's contributing quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Hawks get hot from the service line and up front. Been some good play from John Obi and Devasheri.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Devasheri and Obi pretty often uncontested at the net, and that's kind of a recipe for disaster when you're facing a team with this much power in the lineup. Not to mention, we haven't even seen Rafael Hilario, who is first in the province in hitting percentage, a very efficient player.
And just a little preview of tomorrow's game against the Cambrian Shield. Last time out against Cambrian, the Humber Hawks took that game on November 3rd by 3 straight sets. All-time record of 23-1 against Cambrian, so the Hawks looking to continue that winning tradition. They haven't lost to the Golden Shield since 1995. Adam, how old were you in 95?
I was just entering this world. That was my birth year back in 95, so obviously a long time coming for that last Cambrian win. You had to be up there at 95, I would imagine?
I believe I was 2 years old, just getting off the Gerber.
Taking the world by storm.
Just a thick head of hair.
Speaking of hair, we haven't seen Cayman Wilkins come into the game tonight. Similar story to Kyla in game number 1, as she came in with only 4 points remaining in that 3rd set. So obviously a rest day for the Wilkins. Sure, much their appreciation. Wonder how much we'll see them tomorrow against Cambrian.
Tell you what, one of the younger Wilkins siblings sang the national anthem before the women's game, and I was just blown away. That was absolutely stunning performance of the national anthem.
Really, really nice touch to get us underway here. And obviously the anthem's a nice time of every contest, but something special to it tonight. Jim really appreciated that one.
I heard Coach Wilkins mentions in jest that's his one daughter with the physical attributes to be a great athlete, and all she wants to do is the arts and the singing, and I think she might be on the right path, because that was, dare I say, breathtaking performance.
Yeah, definitely chose the right path. If she's singing like that, put that athletic career aside.
I'm sure Coach Wilkins isn't done putting the press on, though. No, that was great, honey. People seem to like it. I just think, you know, volleyball might, yeah.
And it's not like you can't balance it. I mean, Colin Skanes on your very own men's team here. A little bit of a music career along with his student athlete side, so definitely able to juggle both of those passions.
Yeah, no word yet if Colin Skanes will be singing the national anthem before any of our games, but.
Here's an official request coming up from the booth for Mr. C. Skanes.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
To get on the mic for the next game. So set number 3 starts off with Snake Eyes, a point each. Jake Gomes will find a floating Skanes, seem to hang up there for an eternity. Just a flick of the fingertips will put that down to the floor. Devasheri all over the stat sheet tonight. Another hard serve for him there. And that point awarded to Humber on the net violation. Block seemed to be in position anyways. Service error. Charge to Devasheri, and the ball go back to the side of the Vipers. See Darian Deschamps, 6'3" player, second year out of Sudbury.
Teed up there for Xavier Reed, and another good block by the Boreal Vipers, and energizing the bench, all tied up at 3.
Not a whole lot to cheer about tonight for the Vipers, but they sure enjoyed that block going their way. That's a hard hit ball off the block from Silva Ferreira. So that little bit of momentum creeping on the side of the Vipers is right back in the wings of the Hawks.
Colin Skanes, multifaceted student athlete. Here he is at home at the volleyball court.
Reed with a major block there. That one rung out throughout the gym. Nice play made. Here's Michelle Ao, a leader for this Vipers team. We need a lot more of him. Once again, it's Silva Ferreira, and once again, unable to return it. Justin Lamontagne got the hands down, just couldn't make solid contact. So another first year contributing to this program. That one's a bit of a mishit as he finds the back of the gym.
And the Humber Hawks bench giving him a bit of a hard time.
And what are teammates for? So I'm sure that won't be the last Reed will hear that one.
Reminds me of one of those celebrity first pitches that go way over.
High and outside. So,
Like
so once again, a teeter-totter start to set 3. Similar to that second set we've seen. Silva Ferreira going for a little bit of a knuckleball there, but just didn't have the oomph to get over that net. Stefan Lefebvre, second year from wherever that town is.
That time, Devasheri once again just dialed right in here.
I mean, you take a look at that score sheet. Number 1 jumps off the page, 4 digs, 10 kills, now in double digits for Devasheri.
And we're still early in the third set, which could be the final, although score's pretty close right now. Humber with just a 1-point lead.
Free ball here, chance to extend it. And Devasheri makes absolutely no mistake. Some hang time on that one.
That time just kind of switching it up, almost gliding through the air and just coming directly on top of it, a la John Obi style. Speaking of Obi, here he is with the serve.
Call out from the coach, pulling back his hands as a Viper player, but that ball's still in play. Long Prey with the set. Smart court vision there by John Obi. A nice call made from the bench as he ripped his hands away. John Obi with a little bit of a blue theme this evening. We'll get this one back underway, and a nice little float shot there from Devasheri, showing off the creativity.
We've seen John Obi be banged up through parts of the season. You see that left hand very much taped up.
But I must say that does look like less tape than we've seen in previous weeks, so maybe a good sign to see a few Hawks lay out for that one. All stuck out the pancakes, but all went home hungry.
Yeah, they're saying the tuition at Humber is now actually a bit lower because Obi's not using as much tape on that hand, because he was really getting that thing worked on.
Yeah, a big chunk of the budget was wrapped around Obi's wrist, but definitely seems to be on the mend, and he's performed well tonight.
And the Hawks were worried that Obi might have needed surgery to take care of that hand injury, but good for them. He's back in the lineup and really coming into his own here mid-season.
So the Hawks with a 3-point lead in set number 3. They made quick work in those first 2 sets, jumping out to 2-0 lead. And it's Devasheri with a no-doubter. Make it a baker's dozen for Dylan Devasheri. And a lot of shrugs on the sides of the Hawks as that one finds the court. Miscommunication, a concern there.
And you see Coach Wilkins doing the serenity now type of body language, not happy with that play.
An awkward touch off the hands of Colin Skanes, but hey, if it works, it works. So he kind of punched away at that one.
Skanes with the serve.
It's a good one right to the libero. Far side to Lefebvre. Here's Reed with the kill. He'll get that one down as he continues his strong night.
That was a great hit by Reed. Good setup by Devasheri, but Xavier coming in. Just an absolute laser beam.
Finding those Vipers flat-footed. Long prey now back to the far side. Nice play made by the libero. Jake Gomes will find Reed, and that's off the block. That's Rylan Le'Veon fired up after that play.
Seen that a few times from this Viper front line. Some really good blocks.
Definitely not their forte is the blocking, but showing up when needed tonight. All the way from the backcourt, Devasheri sails it long. Chaleo, his team down by 3. Gonna need something special to force a third set, or a fourth set, sorry. And if John Obi has anything to do with it, it won't happen as he fires down yet another kill. His 5th of the night.
Xavier Reed back with the serve.
That's a rocket.
Lands out of bounds.
Serve remains with Boreal. That one sails way long. Gifting a point to the side of the Hawks as their lead climbs to 4. Unable to pull away as of yet in this third set, but in good position to close out this sweep. Block gets in the way. Devasheri calls for it. And Jake Gomes nonchalantly just shoves that one to the open court. So you see the chemistry there between those Hawks in the lineup. Devasheri getting involved with these teammates. Jake Gomes will get credit for that Hawk point.
Eduardo da Silva with the serve. His nickname back in Brazil, Adam Lucier, was Doo-Doo. Come to find out here in Canada, different connotation. But his teammates still lovingly call Eduardo da Silva Doo-Doo.
Must have been an interesting chat in the locker room when finding out that. That's the type of insider knowledge you get from Matt Hamill, one of the finest in the business. Funny enough, that was my nickname in high school too.
Oh, is like Eduardo your middle name or something?
Something like that. Devasheri giving no hope to these Vipers as he rips that one down. Why not make it 14 kills for Devasheri? What a night in his return. Just nicks off the net. The outstretched foot of Le'Veon can't get to it. Off the tip of the toe.
Yeah, get a little sense of deflation from the Vipers right now.
They have to be pretty proud of their performance in this
No
third
doubt.
set.
No doubt.
But still, the Hawks just 5 points away from wrapping up their Saturday night, at least on the court.
Oh, a little bit of a car crash on the Vipers bench.
That's a little bit of a scary situation. Rylan Le'Veon went all out for that ball, taking out a few chairs and a few teammates with it.
Oh, boy.
Obviously, we hope he's able to shake this one off as he slowly gets to his feet. Nice show of respect by the Hawks to walk over and check on the Viper.
Yeah, we have all the Vipers getting back to their feet. Looks like everybody's going to be okay. Some smiles, that's always a good sign. So here we go. A couple points away here from what will likely be the end of the game.
And give a lot of credit for Le'Veon. This game's really out of reach at this point. Going to shortly be a sweep, but still willing to dive over his coaches and teammates to try to make a play.
Kind of reminds you of when Shaquille O'Neal dove into the bench and he did that one time, and after that they kind of learned their lesson. Everybody got out of the way.
And everybody tried to get out of the way of that kill from Devasheri as he continues to stack up those kills.
Yeah, what a return by Dylan Devasheri.
And we wondered what he would bring to the lineup when he came back in. Exhibit A right there, as he's been an absolute force.
Intense hitting.
That little soft tip pushed back by Skanes. John Obi on the first touch. Far side at Devasheri. Point awarded to Humber, says the umpire. Now just 3 points away from putting a nice little bow on this one.
Adam, who's your vote for player of the game? I think this one might be a bit of a no-brainer.
I'm going to take a wild guess and give it to that young Devasheri gentleman, as he has been on fire all night long. Obviously, we expected him to perform well in his debut, but never could have guessed something like this. So Boreal still sticking in this one, not going back to Sudbury without a fight. And this weekend, kind of the Sudbury trip, as both Cambrian and Boreal are from the Nickel City. Trying to find Devasheri, but whistled down before he could get up there. As Devasheri's eyes lit up like dinner plates. Chance to close this one out, but called dead. Long prey with the serve. And that will do it. This game ends not with a bang, but with a whimper on that service error. Will all but do it. 25-14 your final score, as the Humber Hawks celebrate this three-set sweep. And obviously the story of tonight's game, without a doubt, has to be the return of Dylan Devasheri. And Matt, what does he bring to this lineup?
Well, you know, right away he came in, and you expect maybe for him to need a little bit of time to get his feet under him. But no, right away, just powerful hitting, really looking forward to Dylan Devasheri coming back into this lineup as we continue into the season. And there he is, awarded the Player of the Game nomination.
And pretty good timing with Devasheri's return as we look forward at the end of February for that provincial tournament right here at the North Campus Gym. And this front court sure is going to be something to reckon with.
Yeah, you said it, partner. And the Boreal Viper can go home with their head held high, really good battles, especially at the front of the net. Some big blocks, really energizing the bench. Of course, just a bit too much to handle. Humber with so many weapons up front, and so much height. I think the tallest guy on the Vipers is 6'4". That's Michael Ayo.
Yeah, at 6'4", I'm sure he doesn't see too many people tower over him, but when he looked across the net tonight, he saw the likes of 6'10" Kelsey, 6'9" Obi. Just the size and athleticism really led to this quick 3-set sweep, and that'll about do it from us. Two back-to-back sweeps from both volleyball programs. A pretty successful Saturday night. We'll see you back here tomorrow, Sunday, for those games against Cambrian on the Hawk Sport Network. For Adam Lucier, my broadcast partner, Matt Hamill, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.